Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the 4th and 5 podcast. Penn State beat the shit out of Minnesota. We needed that really, really bad. Once again, I'm with Robby. I'm with Mo, guys. How we doing?
Good. Feel good coming off a win, especially after that Michigan game. Feels good to get a bounce back win, and it felt like a solid win. It felt like a solid win all around. So I can't really complain. But now we got the big dog coming to town this weekend, and we'll have to get into that. So
definitely a solid performance. Yeah, I don't think you can really be mad. There's nothing to be mad about. I mean, you needed a bounce back here. This is such a typical letdown spot. I think the whiteout probably had a little bit to do with it. I mean, we were on that Minnesota team with basically a quarterback who had never started a game before from the jump. But the crowd definitely played a solid impact.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like we always say, Franklin sucks off a bye, he sucks off a loss. It was promising, not that they just won, but they blew the brakes off Minnesota. And like we said, they had that Greek kid Kaliak Manis. He didn't look great, but it's his first start. It's the whiteout. What can you do? You shit his pants a little bit, but he was fine running the ball. I mean, the offense in that game started off very bad. I think they punted twice, and then Clifford did that awful pick, and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm watching the Yankees down 5-0 in the LCS, and then this happens, and I almost started crying. But our defense bend don't break, so they held them to the field goal, and right after that, the offense kind of stepped back up, and they scored 17 in a row before the late touchdown. And fucking PJ Fleck is such a loser, man. Like, I know it's a big touchdown to put up that score late before the second half. Before the half ends, I mean, and he's just going crazy. Like, dude, it's not about you. Like, the camera shouldn't be on the head coach when the team scores a big touchdown. I just don't like that guy one bit.
he is a big look at me kind of guy when they're celebrating. Yeah, but that drive was kind of a killer. I mean, they went 90 yards right before the half. That just can't happen. But it was nice to see that they came out after the half and really made the adjustments. And, we're able to figure it out and not let up more than 7 points. The rest
it was
90
yards in a minute and 50 seconds in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just you can't read too much into that. That's just another you don't against Ohio State. I mean, if that happens, then I'm probably just gonna walk out of the stadium because that'll probably be to put Ohio State up 27-10 rather than 20-10. But
and that Minnesota score didn't worry me at all. It was just kind of okay, we just went up 17-3, and here we are letting up this late touchdown that just didn't need to happen. But they came out with their hair on fire in the second half, and I think that was what was most important.
It was really funny seeing Minnesota switch from, hey, we want to win this game to, hey, we want to get Mo Ibrahim to 100 yards, because it was midway through, after we scored the back-to-back touchdowns in the third quarter and went up 31-10, I think, at that point. Yeah, 31-10.
Yeah.
Then it was literally just all right, let's get Ibrahim to his 100 yards. This game's over.
Their O-line was not even close to as good as Michigan's is, because I mean, if you put Mo Ibrahim behind Michigan's O-line, it's probably similar to what Corum and Edwards did to us.
Probably worse.
Yeah, he's more of a more athletic back than I think the two of them. He's just all around a better running back. He's just on a worse team.
He's probably the best running back in the country. It's probably him or Chase Bryce right now, to be honest.
Chase Brown. Chase Brown is the App State
quarterback. Yeah, no, Chase Brown. No.
He's not the best running back in the country.
Yeah, I mean,
App
I know
State,
that
best story in the first month of college football.
Yeah, they were number 6 in my poll that I do every week, and now they lost to they lost to Texas State, who's one of the worst teams in the country.
Oof.
Brutal. Going back to how awful loss, we know how Franklin's teams always kind of bad, but I don't know. I know it's a great win. It was an impressive win, and we needed it. But I don't like how now it's kind of at least for us, from like the Penn State side of things. Now, because they look so good against Minnesota, who might not be as good as people thought previously, we're kind of looking forward to this Ohio State game. And I don't know if we should be so optimistic because Ohio State is fucking good.
I will be the first one to admit that this game this past weekend definitely flipped a little bit of a switch for me. Not the full way that I, am fully confident that we're going to beat Ohio State, but it just looked like they were a better football team than obviously previous weeks. And I feel like this is really the most complete game that they've put together, I feel like, this season. And I just think like they just looked a lot better than they did in Michigan, and it got my hopes up a little bit. But again, I don't want to be that person that gets all excited and then just gets absolutely let down when we get destroyed on Saturday.
Well,
I'm in a tough position here mentally, to be honest with you.
the thing about this Minnesota game is like, well, PJ said it in his presser today. He's like, the media and the fans don't realize like how big of a game this was for us. And they answered a lot of questions that Michigan brought up. I mean,
They did.
I slammed Curtis Jacobs. I was slamming him after that Michigan loss. And then he leads the team in tackles, and he played probably his best game as an Nittany Lion. Same thing, like Tyler Elsdon looked pretty good. He was flying around the field. Kobe King was flying around the field. I mean, I like that Abdul got the start. I think that was good. I think that needs to be going forward. And then, you get Kurt on the field where you can, because Kurt's not, I mean, Franklin loves to talk about size and size and size. We have to get bigger. Well, you have that bigger guy right there in Abdul, which shout out. I was in the presser today. He actually talks about size once again and how the Big Ten is such a gauntlet because you play teams like Michigan and Minnesota who want to impose their will with size, and then Ohio State plays a different brand of football, which I think is kind of a crock of shit. Because shout out producer Jesse from the Late Kick Show, who's also a Penn State guy with a Josh Pate. He like went through and compared the sizes of like, in the trenches with us compared to a Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, all of them. And there's like next to no size discrepancy there.
Yeah.
Which is all about development.
It's all about development. I mean, that's just what it is.
I don't even know if Ohio State plays a different brand of football. I think they just do everything well. Like I think they are just able to do everything. Like it's not. I mean, they're able to run it. They're able to spread you out and throw it. I mean, they're going to hurt you in multiple ways. And not saying Michigan and Minnesota. Well, no, Minnesota was obviously not able to do the same thing, but Michigan, I feel like they were a run first team, but they could also throw it on us if they wanted to.
Michigan I want to pretend that game didn't happen because it was so bad, but like Ohio State's coming in with a better quarterback, with two running backs that you could say are as good as Corum and Edwards, and just better receivers.
And 3 dog receivers.
Travion Henderson's banged up.
Is Smith playing?
Really fucking good though.
Yeah, and I don't think JSN's gonna. I think he's still banged up.
Yeah.
He's on a snap
count. I saw something about it today.
Oh, he's on a snap count?
Yeah.
Well,
but Aguka, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Fleming are so good.
I hate Julian Fleming.
Me too.
Him and his stupid little Camaro that he went to his signing day with. Whatever.
I just like this Ohio State team. I mean, we're almost 10 minutes in. I guess we can kind of. The plan was 15, but let's just go into Ohio State because that Minnesota game.
Minnesota. Final thoughts. We'll go around the. Let's go around the horn real quick. Final thoughts. Minnesota, good win. I'm very happy with it. I like the resiliency of this team. They showed a little bit more than I'm used to seeing in the past. And, it did hype me up a little bit for Ohio State. But at the same token, like I just have to keep telling myself that I said this was like a 9-3 rebuilding year, and
Yeah.
right now we're staring down the barrel of like
10
a
and 2.
10-2 team, New Year's 6 date with someone like in the Orange Bowl or potentially even the Rose Bowl. So like we're ahead of schedule. And I got to keep telling myself that. Like, just got to keep telling yourself that.
For sure, for sure. I think I agree with most of what you said. I think this was a great win. It was a great bounce back win. I think it was important for the team to kind of come out and make the adjustments from the previous week and really be able to open up the playbook a little more. It was good to see the tight ends get involved. I don't think we touched on that at all. That was one important thing that I wanted to touch on. I was texting Dave the entire time. I was like, we said it all year. Throw it to the tight ends and we'll be solid. So I liked seeing that. Like I said before, I think it was an all around good win. And yes, it did get me excited for Ohio State, but I think it's one of those situations that we need to manage our expectations. Like you said, Mo, we came into this season not really having as high hopes as we do now. So it's just kind of one of those things where we got to be happy with where we're at. And yeah, I feel more confident than I did after the Michigan game going into this Ohio State game. I'll say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm more confident. I mean, Minnesota's not a good team. They were really good, and then they kind of got exposed. But yeah, like the tight ends we talked about, they finally threw the ball to Theo Johnson. I don't know why they didn't use him until last week.
He only had 2 catches until this last week. He had 2 catches for 13 yards.
Yeah.
What do you have, 6 this week? 5 or 6?
7
5
for
for 75, I think.
And a touchdown.
And yeah, I mean, Tyler Warren's the 3rd best tight end, but he had that one touchdown catch, 38 yards. Brenton Strange didn't really get involved a lot, but I don't care because he threw the ball to Theo Johnson.
Brenton Strange is our best blocking tight end.
Yeah,
though.
I was just
he opens up running lanes for Singleton.
Yeah,
the
run game was great too.
Yeah, both of them had like 15 for 70 and change.
I was gonna say they spread it out very nice again. I love when they get them equal touches.
And we did kind of rush through this because we'd be amiss if we didn't talk about Sean Clifford. We have to do it. He got booed.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Sean.
I was intoxicated.
You started?
I didn't start it, but I definitely joined. I definitely joined in, but I mean, listen, Twitter's been crazy this week with all this Sean Clifford booing and whatnot, and you can boo players. I mean, these guys all have Sunday aspirations. Like, if you're getting booed, like, look at Reese Hoskins. I get it. He's in the MLB. Philly fans were booing him to oblivion, and then what does he do? He shows up and hits 3 massive home runs in the NLCS. I mean, if your fans aren't getting on you, they're not passionate. They don't care. And like everyone's like, oh, they're college kids. No.
Sean Clifford's 24.
Sean Clifford's 24, but every single person who comes to play football at Penn State is dreaming about Sundays.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I will say Sean Clifford, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week.
For Sean.
He answered the bell. He answered the call. I mean, I don't know if everyone watched Franklin's presser today. When he goes through, he says, he gave Dom DeLuca Special Teams Player of the Week, Curtis Jacobs Defensive Player of the Week. Shout out Dom DeLuca too, block punt. But then he goes, and Sean Clifford was the Big Ten Conference Player of the Week, and just paused for a good 10 seconds for just to see what the media would do, and it was radio.
Say something with saying nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was trying to do. And then someone did question him on it, and he goes, "Oh, I think that was your Wi-Fi." So he was
joking about it afterwards.
Yeah, he was joking about it afterwards. But Sean, I mean, 4 touchdowns, like 280, 295, super efficient too. Other than the bad pick, but I mean. CJ Stroud throws a bad pick almost every game, and people are talking to him about like him being the number 1 quarterback off. So like, Not to compare, I mean, that's comparing apples to oranges, but
One of the kids I work with, we were doing the upset show today that I do every week. And he read 2 stats. He go because I picked Penn State on the upset show, obviously, because why wouldn't I? Everyone kind of gave me shit for it and booed me. And he goes, "All right, I'm gonna read you 2 stats from 2 quarterbacks." He wrote up QBA and QBB, and I don't remember the exact stats. I forget where it was from. It was some producer. I gotta ask him. I'll find it, but I'll retweet it from the 4th and 5 page. But QBA was Clifford and QBB was Stroud, and whatever analytics stat it was, Clifford has been the more efficient and better quarterback this year. So I'm not saying Sean Clifford's better than CJ Stroud, but if you're gonna pull analytics on me and say that Clifford does look better, maybe we have a shot.
nah. Penn State has to play perfect. They have to play absolutely perfect to win this
100%.
game.
Absolutely.
I think that was evident from Ohio State's game this past weekend as well, because they just didn't play a perfect game against a kind of good defense in Northwestern, and they still won 51-10, something like
They
that.
play Iowa.
Iowa, sorry. Gosh, why do I
Yeah.
say
Iowa,
all the time?
but
They both
you know
suck.
that
They're the
game,
same team.
Yeah,
that game
I guess
was
they're
kind of close until midway in the third quarter. It was like
Yeah.
19-10. But the
But then they
thing
just strike
is,
3
the
times.
crazy thing is, so it was midway through the third quarter, and Ohio State had 8 offensive possessions, and it was only 19-10. Iowa's defense played well. Their offense is just
so
abysmal.
bad.
I'm better than Spencer Peters, the quarterback.
Abysmal. I mean, 8 Ohio State possessions, the best offense in the country, 19 points. And you're only midway through the third quarter. I mean,
I forget who
Iowa's
was
just
calling the
going 3 and
game,
out,
but it was
3 and out, 3 and out.
19-10.
It was Big Noon, so fucking Klatt and
Yeah.
Gus.
It's a good
Yeah.
thing that Iowa is going to get a big change in head coach next year in their offensive scheme. That'll be nice.
Well, isn't it just
I
his
think
kid?
you got fake news by that
That
guy,
was
Mo.
that was
a
the
legit.
joke.
Yeah.
Oh, was that not real?
No, dude, the guy was.
I got fake
His
news?
profile
Oh,
picture
no.
was Johnny Sins. I clicked
No,
he got fake news.
you got me.
Yeah, we got.
Damn, I got. I thought.
But yeah,
I thought-
Joel said that he's like it's 19-10, but Iowa's defense is playing great. Like with this scoreline, you think that Ohio State's crushing them, but Iowa's defense is playing great. The offense is terrible, and I mean, which means we have a bend don't break defense.
We play a similar brand.
We do. If we can hold them to field goals, and Sean gets in, if this is the game. This is the Sean Clifford legacy game. Whatever he's done, as bad as he's been, as good as he's been, whatever highs and lows he's had, if Sean Clifford wins this football game, that's all that matters. That's all anyone will care about. That's all I'll care about. But
Hey,
he has to play perfect.
He beat
be
Ohio
right there with
State
you.
in his senior year. I mean,
Yep.
well, what third senior year?
Whatever.
But he, you know what? He finally got the one thing that had eluded him, other than the college football playoff and a national title. But that's eluded Penn State since the '80s.
Forever, yeah.
So
this is the monkey off his back if he does pull this off.
If he pulls this off, then he'll have a Cotton Bowl win, and then potentially a college football playoff berth.
If this team goes 11-1, and I mean now we're really getting ahead of ourselves, we might as well just continue. If they somehow win this game and go 11-1, we'd need Michigan to lose, whatever. But then if they go 11-1, even if they don't make the Big Ten championship, they get left out because Michigan's let's say Michigan goes 12-0, they have an outside shot at the playoff. But all I care about is a New Year's Six Bowl win. If he can beat Ohio State,
For sure.
win a New Year's Six Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, whatever it is, that's a great end to your career. But it all starts on Saturday, and you have to play perfect to beat this team.
Well, I mean, the scenario that I'm rooting for, let me pull it up. I mean, just ultimate.
They're allowing 149 pass yards a game. Granted, they played nobody, but still.
No, are you pulling up the Northwestern thing?
Yeah.
Oh, the Big Ten West thing?
That's a funny scenario.
So, this scenario would pretty much guarantee that the Big Ten East champion would be picked out of a hat.
Okay.
Which, I mean, dude,
It would drive me fucking crazy.
that would be so fun.
I would love that.
I would bet so much money, and it would be bad.
We
But
have to go to a
it would
bar
be.
and, like,
I'd have to be at a bar, like. Well, I mean,
black out.
they'd make an absolute spectacle of it.
Oh yeah, it'd be like on Fox. It'd be fucking incredible. They'd have like it'd be so
A
funny.
representative from each team.
Would it be like Friday Night Lights when they all flip the coin, or they just pick it out of a hat?
Yes. Oh my god.
I don't
They
know.
Oh my god.
Coin in whoever's heads and whoever's tails.
But basically, the Big Ten West can end in a 7-way tie, and Northwestern would be the champ. So basically, for this to happen, the scenario would be we beat Ohio State, and then Ohio State beats Michigan. We're all 11-1. The tiebreaker we would come down to is divisional record, conference record of non-divisional opponents. So it would be the Big Ten West teams. So we would be Northwestern, Purdue, and Minnesota. Ohio State would be Northwestern, Iowa, and I don't know. Michigan's Illinois. Ohio State is Wisconsin. Michigan is Illinois, Iowa, and who's the third?
Purdue,
Nebraska. So that would be. So the scenario would be then. So like right now, it's for Michigan. Their opponents are 6-6. Penn State's are 5-8. Ohio State's 4-9. And with the way Illinois looks this year, Michigan's would probably get that nod anyway, unless some crazy stuff happens, which I bring you to Northwestern winning.
We want the
Big Ten.
chaos.
So obviously, for those watching on YouTube, I have a graphic up right now, but
beautiful.
Each team has a specific set of wins and losses where their Big Ten record would end at 4-5, and their Big Ten West records would all co-align, and Northwestern would be 4-2, which would just be incredible. They would start the season out 1-8, and then reel 3 wins off in a row.
And win the Big Ten.
Who are those wins against?
For Big Ten West.
Who are the wins against if they were to win the last? Go 1-8, win the
So
last 3.
Northwestern needs to lose to Iowa this week, then lose to Ohio State, then beat Minnesota, beat Purdue, beat Illinois.
That's just not good.
And that puts the East into the picking of the hat.
Yes.
Oh
But
God.
I mean, but
Oh,
like,
man.
so Illinois would have to lose to Nebraska, beat Michigan State, lose to Purdue, lose to Michigan, lose to Northwestern. Iowa needs to beat Northwestern, beat Purdue, lose to Wisconsin, lose to Minnesota, beat Nebraska. Minnesota needs to lose to Rutgers, beat Nebraska, lose to Northwestern, beat Iowa, and beat Wisconsin. Nebraska needs to beat Illinois, lose to Minnesota, lose to Michigan, beat Wisconsin, lose to Iowa. Purdue needs to lose to Iowa, beat Illinois, lose to Northwestern, lose to Indiana. And Wisconsin needs to beat Maryland, beat Iowa, lose to Nebraska, lose to Minnesota. So, like, a couple things need to happen, but it's still possible.
There's a few.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
It'd be so incredible, though.
I mean, imagine all that happens and we lose this week to.
Yeah, I mean, it nothing else matters than us winning this week. So.
Yeah, I mean, basically Penn State needs to win. Well, no, Northwestern could still go to the Big Ten championship, though, which would be cool.
That's true. So Ohio State's allowing 149 yards. Like they beat Notre Dame, who was 5 at the time. Notre Dame stinks. Their offense stinks.
So
Don't throw
terrible
that game away. Ohio
Throw that
State
game
would
out.
beat Ohio State would beat week 1 Ohio State by 25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
They haven't been anybody good. We're the best team they've played. And, I mean, thank God we're at home because this is only their second road game.
Yep.
They had fun. Their first 5 games were at home. 6 of the first. That's ridiculous. Oh, my God.
Also, I mean, we're the best offense they've played by a wide margin.
And our offense is the issue.
Yep.
I mean, we know we have to put up points. You got to bend, don't break. But I mean, that everyone thinks that Ohio State defense is like so much better because I mean, Ohio State's defense ever since they lost Chase Young has been a problem.
Yeah, it's the worst
but
part of the team.
it like everyone's like, oh, it's so much better. It's so much better. It's so much better. Notre Dame, bad offense. Rutgers, bad offense.
Michigan
Iowa,
State,
bad
bad off.
offense. Michigan State, bad offense. I mean, we are the best offense they're playing by a significant margin. So, I mean, you just kind of you get some explosive plays out of maybe it's a tight end, maybe it's a running back, maybe
Well,
it's
that's
Parker. You
the
can
best.
force a turnover, and then you just take care of the ball. If
Yeah.
we can just take care of
I
the
was,
ball,
I was going to say, I think that's going to be the main keys for this game is just a turnover differential because we're +7 at the moment. And if we can keep that going, not much Ohio State can't do with or can do without the ball.
All right, so listen to this. So the best running back that they face is Braylon Allen on Wisconsin. The kid's a stud. Okay, so that's, I mean, nobody else is a good running back. Braylon Allen is.
yeah, but that offense is putrid.
Exactly, but listen to this. Braylon Allen had 165 yards on 23 carries and a 75-yard touchdown.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're susceptible to letting off a big run. So let's say he averaged 7 yards a carry. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that 75-yard run. I'm trying to do the math here. So if you take out the 75-yard run, he still averaged 4 yards a carry.
Which is
With the 75,
which is where we're at, right? Yeah.
Which is what we want to be at. If we can get Nick and Katron, give them each 15 carries, and they are at 70 yards again. If they get the run game going, the offense completely opens up. It's happened every game when the run game is going. It happened against Minnesota.
You saw last week.
We couldn't run the ball against Michigan, and what happened? The offense couldn't do anything. So
because it allows us to get to the play action pass, which is,
and then the tight ends are wide open.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then if we have Parker and Mitch making sick catches like they were last week, which I'm sure will happen, because obviously it's Ohio State, so their corners are good, but like it's not like they have corners where you're going on Twitter and all you're seeing is so-and-so PFF #1 ranked in the country, so-and-so, like,
we're going on Twitter and we're seeing that
if you
about
can't
our
name their quarterbacks. Yeah, exactly. We have a top 5 secondary, and again, their receivers, they have the best receiving core in the country, but their receivers haven't seen a secondary with Joey Porter, with Jair, with Johnny Dixon, with these guys.
King.
With Kalen King, yeah, and Zachy Wheatley. Like, these guys, they'll make mistakes, but they're way too good to just completely let them get blown up. I mean, I hope not, but they're just way too good of a secondary to get beat constantly.
I agree with all of that, but Ohio State can beat you any which way they want. They have a top 3 quarterback in the country, a top 3 wide receiver room in the country, when healthy, a top 3 running back room in the country, and they probably have a top 10 offensive line. I know that their left tackle is probably a first rounder. What's his name? It's like Patterson.
They also have, on the defensive side of the ball, Eichenberg's a good linebacker, but
he's really good in coverage, which will be interesting. Him versus our tight ends.
Our tight ends, yeah.
But we also have 3 tight ends that can beat their other linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
If we keep running these offensive sets with Theo and Brenton, and if you throw Tyler Warren in there too, I want to see a play where they get under center on, like, I don't know, 2nd and 2 or something, run a play action, hit somebody on a pop pass, because somebody will be open. If you get it'll never happen, but it's just how football is. Get under center. Teams don't know how to respond to it, but they won't do it. I just wish there was something that was thrown in a little bit more.
Yeah, that's the most frustrating thing, especially on those short down situations where it's just like you're adding more yardage onto your total play when you start in shotgun. Just get under center and run it down the throat, or like you said, run a play action pass. Have two tight ends lined up on either side. Run it to the boundary and hit a pop pass. It's not They're not going to do it, like you said, but it would be, very smart. And one of those situations that we're just kind of screaming at the TV, like it's right there. But of course, we're just going to line up from the shotgun and run a little sweep.
Dude, Mayan Williams is averaging 7 yards a carry, and Trayvon's averaging 6 yards a carry. I don't love that. Ibuka's averaging these receivers, man. Ibuka's averaging 18 yards a catch. Marvin Harrison Jr. 16 yards a catch. Fleming 19. It's 41 receptions, 38 receptions, 17 receptions for those three guys. They don't use the tight end a lot. I mean, he has 18 catches, but he's not gonna kill us. I don't think, because he's not what's his face, the kid from who's on the Jets now from Long Island. His name's escaping me. Shit, what's his name? Ruckert, Jeremy Ruckert.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be able to pull that out.
Yeah, they don't. This kid's not as good as Ruckert, but he's a solid tight end. He's on Ohio State. Yeah. I mean, I think the way we're gonna have to beat them is shut down the run. Because if we somehow can stop, you said Trayvon's banged up, right? Let's see what his.
Yeah, he's banged up.
I'm sure he's. Did he play last week a lot? I want to say he's not taking.
This game, it's tough because Ohio State definitely saw what Michigan did to us, and they definitely hear the media. Like, there's been a lot of sentiment that, like, the Big Ten isn't that good this year. Like, nobody knows how good. Yeah, no one knows how good Michigan or Ohio State is because they've played nobody. Like, Michigan's best wins, Penn State, they're just saying that the Big Ten's not good. So Ohio State is going to want to just put an absolute world of hurt on us because that's what Michigan did.
So they could not run the ball against Iowa. They scored 54 points. They couldn't run the ball. Mayan Williams had 19 yards and Trayvon had 20 something. And they each ran the ball 10, 11 times. So, and they still won by 50.
How many
But
passes?
that goes back to, we kind of talked about that Iowa game. Their defense played well. Like, the defense played well.
They had two defensive touchdowns or two. They had a defensive touchdown, and they had one or two that brought them inside the 15. I know. Stroud was 20 for 30 for 286 and 4 touchdowns. He fumbled. He got sacked and fumbled for a touchdown. He threw a bad pick. So he turns the ball over a lot, honestly.
That was very similar to Clifford's stat line this past week. Well, he threw for more yards, but
because he's better.
Yes.
CJ Stroud, which is, it's kind of like we saw McCarthy kind of killed us outside the pocket, like with his legs. Stroud does not run. He is a pocket passer. When you get him,
I think he's in our favor.
If we can get, I don't know, Deny Dennis Sutton, Chot Robinson, get these guys.
Adisa Isaac.
Pinned back. Adisa Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can get some pressure, he's shown that he will make mistakes.
So I know Diaz loves to bring pressure, and he's going to bring the house constantly, but that worries me where I know we're going to get in Stroud's face, but I feel like it makes the defense susceptible to Fleming or Smith and Jigler, one of these stud receivers, just to be wide open and house call us.
Yeah, we definitely can't play the brand of defense we played this weekend where we dared Minnesota to throw and literally we were literally in man all day long.
Yeah, we cannot keep doing. I know, like we said before, we have a great secondary. We love our guys, but you can't put these guys on an island. Eventually, they'll get beat. How good they are, it doesn't matter how good they are. They will eventually get beat, and it's just kind of. I'm confident enough in the defense where I don't think they'll score more than 30 points. I think they'll score 27, 28. We'll see. The offense needs to keep up with how Ohio State's going to score, because this is the first time in 3 years, I think, where we have an outside shot of winning. Because last year, no shot. The year before, that was the COVID year, right? No shot. And then the year before that, when we were in Columbus,
We lost 28-17, but that was the Will Levis game where like he just was literally just like straight up running.
Yeah. The entire time.
We had an outside shot in that game. We were down 4 driving, and then Will Levis threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but
and that was the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, like going into it, I think this is the first time in 4 years where you can kind of look at it with a positive lens where there's a shot. Because I know those 3 games we just talked about, I knew we weren't going to win. But like, I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look at it from a positive lens. But then we're 16-point dogs. So I don't know. We always cover, but
we're 5-0 if you don't count COVID against the spread since
covering.
Yeah, since 2016. Yeah. It just really sucks because I mean we can go back to 2018, the elite great to elite comment. I mean, we lost to Ohio State 2 years in a row by a point.
Yeah, and I ranted after that game. That was my sophomore year. When the 4th and 5, shout out 4th and 5 podcast. That's where we got the name from.
Shout out.
After that, I was calling for Franklin's head 5 years ago, 4 years ago. However long. Like I was like, fire him, and here we are in the same spot that we are every single year because I should be AD.
I mean,
let's hope this game doesn't come down to a 4th and 5, huh?
I'd rather. I think it might. I think there's.
It could. It very well
could. I really don't think we're going to get blown out. They might.
I don't either. I think that 16. I think that 16 points is a bit of a stretch. I don't think, especially being at home. Maybe if we were at the shoe, they would.
If we're at the shoe,
I'm okay. Shot. I'm okay laying 16 points against us, but we're at home. I mean, we got to put up a little bit of like.
If we're at the shoe, this is a
close to 3 touchdown
spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Oh man! All the respect got the doors blown off when we got shit kicked
out. The early lines for that Michigan-Ohio State game, Ohio State's like a fucking 8.5-point favorite on them.
Interesting. I'm guessing the game's at the shoe this year.
Yeah, it's at the but I mean, we've been a big hypothetical podcast. We love our hypotheticals here. So there's been 3 times in Penn State history where they got their doors blown off by Michigan, played Minnesota and won, and then played a top 10 US or Ohio State team. We were 3-0 in those games. 2006, we beat number 2 Ohio State 17-10. 2016, we all know what happened. And then there was some other game in like the 80s, but
isn't there a stat where every time the Phillies win the pennant,
the Phillies, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think it was 1980.
Yeah, it was 1980, 2009, 2010,
2008.
2008. Did you
2008,
also?
Well, no, they beat it in 2008. They won. Well, the Phillies won the pennant in 2008 because that's when they beat the Rays. They won the pennant in 2009 because they lost to the Yankees.
Lucky year by the Yankees.
I mean, it's fine, man. I just need some of this dirtbag Philly magic to like help me. It needs to help me.
I'm kind of in a good spot right now. To be
magic, oh. See, like that's kind of like where, for me, I need the Philly magic, but also like you guys have so much going for you that there's no shot we win this game because they're not going to give you the World Series and World Game 1 on Friday and then this on Saturday, less than 12 hours.
Well, and then game 2 of the World Series is
that night,
Saturday night.
Yeah.
I'm going for game 1 in Philly. So I have a crazy sports weekend. We've got Ohio State, Penn State, Steelers, Eagles, Phillies. I don't think I'm gonna go to Steelers, Eagles though. That's just like if the Steelers were good, maybe. Yeah, it's at the link.
The only thing I have in my life is Penn State.
Well, unfortunately for you two, the Guardians and the Yankees have been dismissed.
Both
think
met
I
their
really
demise.
sent Rob a funny meme, and then they lost 4 straight. So
I should have
also
redid the meme and sent it right back to you.
there's a picture of me from 2019, the last time the Yankees lost, and it was just the Astros. And my buddy is an Astros fan, and he like put an Astros like one of those little helmets on me, and took a picture of me and says the Astros are the best team in the American League. And I found it the other day. I go, I cursed myself. This is all my fault. But
Yeah.
this is not a baseball podcast. This is a
No,
Penn
baseball
I was
State
gonna
football.
say,
podcast, but
let's steer this back to
run.
Penn State football.
No, let's run through just a quick World Series predictions from the two losers of the pod.
World Series predictions?
Yeah.
Astros
Phillies,
and-
Astros, how many games?
6.
Who?
Go
Astros
Astros
6.
6.
Phil's
I
and
don't-
five.
Phil's in
I honestly
4.
think-
It's all about the Titans.
Phil's and five.
Deep down in my
Phil's and
heart,
five.
I feel like the Phillies
How
are
about
gonna
the
get it done,
Titans?
but
Well, the Astros can't beat the NL East.
I don't want to talk about the Astros. Let's talk about Penn
yeah,
State.
let's get back to Penn
Yeah,
State. here.
let's go back.
All
Nice
right.
little tangent though. Nice
Yeah,
little
that was
tangent.
good. That was good.
All right, what's everybody's keys? Give me 2 keys to this game.
All right, my keys are I guess I'll go defense and offense.
Yeah.
On defense, I don't blitz as much. Play some zone, please. Curtis Jacobs is gonna be flying around again because he did last week, so he proved to us that he can do it. I'm confident in the front 7. I think Chop will get down there. D-Sides will get down there. Curtis needs to do his job again. Elston needs to play as well as he did last week. It's very promising that these linebackers bounced back and played great last week. So yeah, just don't play man the whole game, and then get the run game going on offense. I say that every week. And every week I write in my articles, Clifford needs to be confident. When Clifford's confident, he's good. When he shits his pants, he sucks. So he can't. I think he'll be poised because we're at home. Just get on the board early. We never get on the board early. We never score early. Take a touchdown lead early, and we'll go from there.
I
Yeah,
was actually going to say the same thing, Dave. I was going to say we need to score first. We don't need. I guess we don't necessarily need to score first, but we need to score on our first 1 or 2 possessions. We can't come out and go 3 and out again on the first 2 and then throw that pick again.
I don't know,
if
man.
we do throw that pick, Ohio State is fully going to take advantage of that, unlike Minnesota was able to do. So I think it's very important for us to come out and get it started early.
2018, we came out pretty fucking fast.
That's
And then
true.
what happened?
We have come out fast in previous years.
We were up 13-0 in the first 2.5 minutes.
Oh,
Imagine sitting up and takes the opening kickback. I think I'd faint.
Well, because that was the when we went up 13. That was 2018. That was the KJ. Was that
The slant.
KJ Hamler?
The slant.
The
Yeah.
speedy freshman.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then Saquon took the kick.
that was 2017. Saquon, the kick.
So was that
That's my-
2017?
That was my freshman
Those were
year.
different.
No,
Yeah,
no,
those
they
were
were different.
different.
Dude, did we go up 14-0 both?
Both
Because
games.
Saquon took,
Yes.
because
Yep.
Saquon took the kick, and then there was the
All right, so maybe we
That-
don't go up first.
that deep ball where to Deshaun, where it was like Deshaun and Okuda. It was basically like we don't even know who caught it.
Yeah,
But we're just gonna call it a
Yeah.
touchdown.
we're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go with
Because
that.
I remember at the draft that year, like that was one of Jeff Okuda's highlights, and I was like, that was a touchdown pass.
Yeah. Deshaun caught that ball.
Allegedly.
That's
Is he
funny.
still in the league? No.
He was on the Broncos for the longest
Yeah.
time.
I'm gonna say if anything, practice squad maybe, but I don't know.
Probably.
I want to see the last couple ones where I'm not going to include COVID. Let's see. Did we 33-24 last year? Yeah, but that game wasn't close.
Score
The game
looked a
was
lot closer
close
than it was.
until the strip sack of Clifford.
Yeah, it's always close. I mean, that's such BS that this is like the first one. I know it was COVID, but this is like the first legitimate game in state college since the 4th and 5 game when we were 9 in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were 20 last year against them. That's right, because we just lost 2 straight. Because we were fucking number 4 last year when Clifford got hurt at Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know how legit that team was though.
The one last year.
That's also
Yeah,
fair.
I like.
Yeah, they weren't going to do anything.
Like, I mean, it's
But
odd.
they were still 4.
We can say we were number 4, but like, we were never actually number 4 because it was.
That's fine. We
It
can
was
blame it on the
apparent.
injury, though. It's fine.
It was apparent how fraudulent we were that, like, just a couple injuries absolutely derailed us.
Yeah.
So we didn't beat them in 5 years. Before that, it was 4 years, and before that, it was. It used to be. Yeah, I mean, it used to be close.
We play the best brand of football to compete with Ohio State in the Big Ten on a consistent basis.
100%.
I mean, we're due. We usually beat them like every 5, 6, 7 years.
Right.
Yeah, we do. Like time is, especially with all this stuff with the all these analytics and not analytics, all these hypotheticals that we were throwing out. We got to be due. I mean, I don't really know how else to break down this game. That's really, feel like we did everything.
Should we just give our predictions?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little baseball. We talked about how we can't.
We hit a lot.
I thought of something. I don't care if you have to play basically cover 4, prevent, whatever. Don't let these guys get behind you. Don't let these guys get behind you. I know Jair's going to I just had a vision. It's not a good one. Jair's going to try to pick a ball off, and he's going to go over his head, and then Julian Fleming is going to be right there and catch it like
anyone but him. Anyone but Julian Fleming.
That's the worst part.
Gabe, why did you put that into the universe?
When it happens,
Oh,
I want to smack.
I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah,
up in NGU. I'm gonna punch you.
NGU row 70.
NGU
row
row
70.
70.
Live stream from our seats.
Yeah.
EGU row 74.
Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah. So you guys want to get into predictions, and then I can kind of like.
Yeah, let's do it.
Special teams.
Barney Moore. We didn't shout out Barney again. Shout out Barney.
How many times? He only punted 3 times.
4. I think he had 4 for 160 or something like that.
He
didn't have a great game, to be honest.
We only punted once in the second half. I thought we punted twice.
That's pretty good.
And then once in the second. Yeah, because in the second half we had 5 drives, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. And a punt. Yep.
Makes sense.
Nice.
I did see a nice video of him going around campus asking people about the punter, and nobody knew who he was. So I hope that one day he comes up to me and asks me. I will kiss him.
I would know who he is.
I'll literally be like, wait, what are you doing in an hour? We have a podcast that I need you on.
What are you doing today?
No, but I think special teams is really what the difference maker of this team is going to be this week. Franklin loves to talk about in his pressers explosive play battles, penalty battles.
Turnover battles.
Special teams is where this game you could really, really turn this on its head. I know, like a big punt from Barney. Our kick return, like what I feel like kick and punt return there's been like nothing explosive out of that.
Parker.
I was gonna say I think Parker had negative return yards last game. If I am recalling that right.
One big one against either Ohio or Central Michigan. He had a big return, and that's it. And then kick return, we never get anything.
No. I would love to see something there. Just
doesn't even have to be a big run. Just get us to the 30 or the 35.
Help
set us up.
Help the offense.
Yeah.
I want to win that starting position. Let's maybe not go 78 every time. Let's try maybe a little 65.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be a kick 6. It just needs to be some positive energy that when you're going out there, you're in plus territory. Let's do this. Then 10 more yards, you're at midfield, and then you're confident. Hey, even if we don't get this first down here, I have a guy who's going to pin them deep, and we're going to flip field. Because I think this is going to end up being a field position battle at the end of the day. Late, I mean, that's just what these games always end up being.
Yeah.
It does suck. I hate Fox. I hate Fox a lot.
Big Noon needs to be get rid of it. Big Noon
Canceled.
kickoff is
Canceled.
the worst thing in sports. I hate it. I can't believe. I mean, I'm fine. Gonna start drinking at 6. Whatever, fine. But get rid of it. It doesn't need to be a thing. It's terrible. I hate it.
I hate how much
Yeah, I
like,
mean-
they try to get around it and try to make people buy into it. And it's just like, we don't like this. We tell you
Nobody
over and
likes
over
it.
again. Like, it's
It
brutal.
sucks because it's probably it's going to ruin the Ohio State Michigan whiteouts for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
Because
no,
Yeah.
we're going to CBS.
Oh yeah,
So,
but then there'll be three CBS
3:30.
big games or 3:30.
They're gonna do so. Yeah,
better than
I'd rather
noon, though.
3:30 than noon.
I don't know. At least by like 2:00, I'll know if I can just focus my energy on the Phils or. I mean, that's the saving grace of everything here.
Mo, give
You
us a
Oh, my score?
Yeah, give us a
Yeah, I was
score. You
gonna say,
don't
give us
have
a
to give
score.
us a score or give us like a whereabouts because we're gonna cover.
Probably like 35-24 if I have to. I mean, we're going to be in it and then it's going to be late. They'll probably just hit us with a dagger.
I think
Probably.
I just had a vision in my brain too, Dave. I feel like we're gonna be right there until like 8 minutes left in the fourth, and they're just gonna hit us with like 2 quick strike touchdowns, and we're not even gonna know what's happened.
in NGU in front of our face in our end zone.
Yeah, just right there, and we'd be like, we were just tied, and now we're down 14, and we just don't know what happened. But I hope that doesn't happen. With that being said, I'll go into a little bit of my keys and my prediction. I think one thing that we had to do is obviously be close to perfect, if not absolutely perfect on the offensive side. I think Sean, like you said, has to be confident, and we have to be able to run the ball so we can spread out and throw the ball eventually. So I think that's obviously going to be a big key. And then on defense, I think, like you said, Dave, I was going to say, don't let the passes up. Keep the little short passes in front of you. Don't try to go be a hero and make a big play. Just keep it in front of you. These guys can stop on a dime and take it 70 yards. So it's just all about not letting them behind you and not trying to, be that hero in the secondary. But I think, I feel kind of good. I feel good that we're going to cover the spread. I don't know. My prediction, I'd probably go around 33-23, something like that. Maybe like 35-24. Yeah, I like Mo's guys.
All right, so I think we cover again. Like I'm going to reiterate, don't let those guys behind you. Stick to the run game. I know that Iowa shut down Mayan Williams and Travion. I think we'll be able to do it, but I think that they're going to hit some shot plays. They're going to have some long drives. I also think we're going to hit some shot plays, and we're going to have some long drives. We're going to cover, but I think we're going to lose this game late. It's going to come down to like an end zone shot. We're going to be inside the 20, and it's going to be incomplete. We're going to lose. No, you know how we're going to lose? Ready? We're going to lose 37-35 because Pinnaker is going to miss a field goal. Could you imagine?
At home.
Oh, my God, dude. I think I would just, turn into dust. I don't know what I would do.
I
Now I'm
hope
worried
we're
about
all wrong. I hope we're all wrong.
That's out in the air.
I hope we're coming back to you guys on Saturday with smiling faces.
Mo, what about this? We miss Pinnaker misses the field goal, and then Jordan Alvarez hits a walk-off home run that same night with the Astros up 2-0 in the World Series.
I'll turn into the Joker.
All right. Well, unfortunately, all three of us have Ohio State winning this game, but who knows? Hopefully, we're wrong. Usually, we are wrong. So we're having a tailgate live show, lot 33. We're gonna get there as early as possible and try to kind of get close to the stadium as possible. We have a couple Ohio State guys coming. We're gonna be doing a show for like an hour. I have a camera set up. I'm like, it's gonna be all nice. So that'll be out probably sometime Sunday or Monday, whenever we wind up getting home. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun this weekend. We're all gonna be in State College. If you want to grab some beers, eat some dogs, whatever, we'll be there. 4th and 5 podcast on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Follow us on everything. Like and subscribe. We got more stuff coming out. Thanks for listening. We are.
Go State.
Franklin has one more game in me.
He's got one more.
He got one more.